At this point in the tutorial series, we've successfully created an end-to-end application that publishes prices from a Kotlin Spring Boot service and shows them on a JavaFX line chart. This uses HTTP and server-sent events. However, since this is a reactive application, we might want to choose a protocol that's better suited to streaming data. In this video, we're going to create a service that produces price data via the RSocket protocol. Our existing service is a Kotlin Spring Boot application with a REST controller. We're going to create a similar class, which is an RSocket controller. It needs to be annotated as a Spring controller. Let's create a new Kotlin function that takes a single argument. We'll call it prices, the same as the REST controller function. This takes a symbol, which is a string. We want this function to return a flux of stock prices, as it's going to produce a stream of prices. In fact, this method is going to look a lot like the prices method in the REST controller, since it's actually going to do the same thing. The only difference is it's going to publish the prices in a different way. To reduce duplication, let's introduce a price service that contains the shared logic. Let's get IntelliJ IDEA to pass this in as a constructor parameter. In the Change Signature pop-up, we can define this as a new type, price service. We haven't created the service yet, so let's get IntelliJ IDEA to create the class inside this file for simplicity. We'll annotate it with service. Let's call a function on the service called GeneratePrices. We know we want to pass in a symbol and return a flux of stock price objects. IntelliJ IDEA can figure out from our code how to generate a function with the correct signature. We know what we want inside this function. This is the functionality that's going to be shared between the REST controller and the RSocket controller, which is currently in the prices function of REST controller. Let's copy this from prices into the new GeneratePrices method. We also need the random stock price method from the REST controller. Now everything here is compiling, we can remove our duplicated code. We can introduce the price service to the REST controller as well. And we can call the GeneratePrices function to get the prices for the REST controller. Now we can safely remove the random stock price function since it's not being used because we copied it into the service. The prices functions on both the REST controller and the RSocket controller are now simply calling the price service, so all the common code is in one place. Kotlin allows us to simplify this code even further. We can convert this to a function with an expression body, which also allows us to remove the declared return type if we wish. Because this function is a simple delegation, this might be a more useful and certainly shorter way to write it. The REST controller function is annotated with getMapping, which sets up the URL for clients to connect to consume the stream of prices. We need to do something similar for the RSocket controller function. For the RSocket prices function, we need to add a message mapping annotation. We haven't added the dependencies we need yet, so let's go ahead and add the dependency to our pom.xml file. Notice that IntelliJ IDEA can help us with code completion. Once we've added Spring Boot Starter RSocket to the pom file, now when we go back to our application file, we can add an import for message mapping. We need to give it a string root so that clients can connect to this. If we start the application now, we can see which servers have been started. In this case, we only have Netty on port 8080. We want an RSocket server as well. Let's go to Application Properties and define an RSocket server port. Let's use port 7000. Simply defining the port here is enough to get Spring Boot to start an RSocket server for us. So when we restart the application, we can see a Netty RSocket server started on port 7000. Now we have a prices service started on port 7000 ready for a client to connect to it to receive stock prices via RSocket. Thanks for watching.